Hi there, my name's Gemma. Welcome to another Sensory Bite on things that you can do with an old newspaper or an old magazine. Okay, so I'm going to work through 10 different activities that you could use to help with coordination and to help with self-regulation. So number one, the first one that we're going to look at is simply tearing the paper. Now, apart from the very obvious therapeutic benefit of ripping up a sheet of paper, what we're doing here is we're actually working on our bilateral skills. So we're working on the two sides of the body, working together cooperatively. Number two, we're going to look at scrunching the paper. So we can use another page of the paper and we can use two hands together to simply scrunch it into a ball. And again, scrunch it into a ball. Now the other way that we can scrunch paper is we can do it unilaterally, and we can work on hand strength and coordination with the individual hand and the individual fingers. So we can simply place a strip towards the side of the paper table and we can scrunch it up into one hand and make a ball. And then we can do the same with the other hand. So scrunching the paper up with one hand into a ball. So number three is rolling the paper. So we can, with the balls that we already have, we can work on using the two sides of the body together to roll the paper into a ball shape. This works on bilateral skills as well. And then for our next activity, so number four, we can also work on tiny finger rolls. So we can focus on having very small bits of paper that we roll with our fingers. And we can use more than one finger, so we can isolate the finger and roll it. When we work using our pointy finger and our thumb, we're working on strengthening these muscles here with these joints. And we're also working on the O space, and the O space is really super important for things like handwriting, holding pens and pencils. Number five, so using our pre-made tiny little balls of newspaper, we can work on a flicking activity. So flicking allows us again to work a bit further on finger isolation. And we can do this with a target, or we can just simply see how far we can flick our tiny rolls of paper. So number six, still using our little tiny rolls of paper, we're going to work on a skill called in-hand manipulation. So first of all, I have my tiny rolls of paper and I'm going to use my hand and I'm going to pick them up one by one, but I'm going to keep them in my hand. Okay, you ready? So I've picked one up and I'm popping it in my hand to hold. Pick the next one up, pop it in my hand to hold, and so on. So I have four in my hand. And this kind of skill is really helpful, for example, if we're in a shop and we're handling change and we need to sort through our money. And we can also practice moving the balls to our fingers again and popping them down on the table. So moving them out from our palm and placing them back down onto the table. Okay. So number seven is kind of fun. It's a target game. So using our pre-rolled balls of newspaper that we have, we can work on using a target and working on our visual motor skills. So you can either use something like a bucket as your target, or a bin if you're going to throw your pieces of paper away, or you can use something else. And if you look behind me on my windows here, I have some Space Invaders made out of Post-it notes, and so I'm going to use those as my target for today. So wish me luck. Yes! Two's not bad. I hope you can do better than me. Okay, so strategy number 8, we can use our paper balls to work on some gross motor skills. So we can work on our body awareness. We can use bilateral skills by tossing a paper ball from one hand to the next. We can use our proprioception, so our map of our body, and we can pass the ball behind our back using our proprioception, and we don't use vision to support us. So we have to really think about where our hands are to collect the ball. And we can also do another activity with passing it under the legs, which works on proprioception, and it helps us to cross the midline and under the leg, under the leg. You can also do these activities with a partner. So if we have 2 children, we can get them to stand back to back and pass the paper ball between the legs and then back over the head, so that they're working with a partner and really kind of working much more on body awareness. And they can also pass the ball around and put their hand out to receive it. So again, we're working on body awareness, but we're using less vision to support, so we're relying much more on the proprioceptive sense. Okay, so finally, the last 2 strategies are designed to help with regulation of breathing. So we have 2 strategies. Number 9 is low races. So we're going to use our tiny balls that we squished up earlier. We're going to use a straw, and we're going to see how far we can blow it. So you can either set up a mini track, or you can just simply see how far you can get it. So these activities are designed to help regulate breathing. Sometimes when we hyperventilate, so when we overbreathe, we have a build-up of carbon dioxide in our system, and that can create quite horrible anxiety symptoms, palpitations, feel as if we're struggling to breathe, can feel shaky, lots and lots of different symptoms. And these games are designed to breathe out lots of that carbon dioxide, so we're doing lots of really nice deep breaths out. Number 10. And I'm going to use my homemade Wiki Stick goal here, just here so you can see. And I'm going to see if I can blow some of my balls into the goal. Wish me luck. Yes! Aww. Oh. Did I say 10? I meant 11, because the last way to use an old newspaper or magazine would obviously be balloon tennis. Ready?